Readers, it's Sasha, and today I am doing a semi-original tag video. So an idea came to me when I was browsing my Twitter, and I was actually super excited about it, and I went and I wrote down some of my own original prompts, and I got really excited, and I looked it up, and it wasn't a thing, and I got super pumped. And then I looked it up again last night just to make sure it wasn't a thing, and it actually was a thing, and I somehow missed it the first time. But I'm still going to do it. I'm going to put the original tag creator in the description. I can't remember the name right now, but I promise it'll be there, just so that, you know, they can actually get credit for a tag they created. But these prompts are all ones that I created, so they came out of my uninventive brain. They're mine to take pride in, and I guess I should just tell you what the tag is now. Is that like a thing? Should I tell you what the tag is? So, the tag is the Disney Channel Shows as Books tag. That's a long title. Disney Shows as Books tag. We'll just call it the DS tag, the Disney Show, DCS, Disney Channel Show tag. Right here, the DCS tag. So I have my trusty notebook where I've written down the prompts that I plan on using, and I'm just gonna go for it. I've never done like original content, so this is a new category for me. So the first show that, I don't know how to do this. The first show I've chosen is Hannah Montana, and the prompt to go along with that is to pick a book or a series with a main character who had to live two different lives. So the book that I have chosen for this prompt is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. And I'm picking Star Carter because although I have not read this book, I have seen the movie. And Star had to live two different lives. Although she wasn't hiding necessarily a whole separate identity like Hannah Montana, she did have to live two lives. One in the neighborhood she grew up in and the other at her preppy, fancy, white private school. So she did have to live two lives just like Hannah Montana, but in a lot more of a realistic and not good situation, so not really like Hannah Montana. But it is a character who has lived two lives, so it fits for the prompt. The next show that I've chosen is Wizards of Waverly Place, and the prompt to go along with this is a book or series with sibling rivalry. So this I did struggle with because I haven't read a lot of like sibling books, so I chose a book that I don't actually own, and it's one that I have not read, but I've seen the movie. Is this a theme? Like, is this entire time just me proving I don't actually read books and I only ever watch the movies? That's sketchy. Anyway, the book that I am choosing is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by, oh my god, Jenny Han, I think her name is? That's awkward. I don't even know who wrote it. So I've seen the movie, and although it's not like a massive, massive rivalry, it's definitely not to the level of a Wizards of Waverly Place rivalry. Lara Jean and Margot get into little spats about this mediocre white male. So it works. They are siblings and they kind of have sort of a rivalry going on for a very small amount of the book, but it still counts. So I'm counting it. Next. The next show that I've chosen is, I think, my personal favorite, and that is The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. And the prompt that goes along with this is to pick a book or a series with polar opposite main characters. So for this, I've chosen a fairly recent read for me, and that is The Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy. Both of the main characters, so ALS and Sabine, are best friends, and they are so vastly different. ALS wants to be, I can't really explain it without like describing what the book is. So it's basically about bone criers who like have to kill a man in order to be a farrier of the dead, which doesn't make sense, but if you read it, it makes sense. So just read it. Like, that's the answer. Read the book. ALS really wants to do her kill. She wants to kill a man. She wants to be a farrier. She's like fully embracing that lifestyle. Whereas Sabine, she can't even kill animals. Like, she cries about it and she can't do it. So they're very different. One's timid and shy and one's fierce and just go-getter attitude. So they are completely different. The next show that I've chosen is The Sweet Life on Deck. And the prompt to go along with this one is to pick a book or a series that is a spin-off of an original book or series that you really did not need, but you're super happy that you have. For this, I have chosen The Darkest Legacy by Alexandra Bracken. This book did not need to happen. Like, this is a continuation book following one of the characters from the Darkest Minds trilogy. Honestly, I was satisfied with the Darkest Minds ending, so I didn't really need this follow-up book, but I'm so happy I have it because this is my main character, and this isn't my main character. This is my favorite character, and I'm honestly I'm happy to have this, but it definitely was not necessary. So the next show that I've chosen, actually, I think this one's my favorite, and that is That's So Raven. And the prompt that I've chosen for this is to pick a book or a series that is ahead of its time, or was ahead of its time. For this, I have chosen another book I have not owned, I don't own, but I have read it, and that is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This book I had to read for school, and honestly, it was so ahead of its time. If you don't know what it's about, it is about the racial injustices that Black people faced in the, I think it was 50s and 60s? It was published while it was all going on, so it's honestly like, it was so ahead of its time. I do want to own it. I do want to get an edition of it for my shelf because I do love it a lot. But that is definitely a book that was ahead of its time. The next show is Kim Possible. And the prompt that I've chosen for that is just very simple. Pick a book or a series with a super badass female main character. Forgive me for the cover. I hate the cover. The cover is the only one that differs from the rest of my series, and I don't love it, but it's fine. It is Gone by Michael Grant, and I've chosen Lana from this book and the whole series. So if you don't know what the Gone series is about, it's basically about everybody within a certain radius who is over the age of 15 just kind of poofs out of existence, and these 14 and under children have to figure out how to live life and take care of everyone and ration and all this stuff. And then they figure out that they are stuck in a dome. So it's like a dome that goes up and around the water. That's a dome. Well, they're stuck in something. Sphere? They're stuck in a big circle. And so they're trying to figure out how to get out of it, essentially. Because it was only a small radius, everybody knew someone. Lana did not. Lana was driving with her grandfather, and she did not live in this part of town. And in my opinion, she made the best out of this situation, and having known nobody, she came in and she was just kind of like, don't try me. That's the attitude, and she came in, she owned it, and she ended up becoming a very important part of our story. So I will say Lana is one of the most badass characters I've ever read about. The next show that I've chosen is Lizzie McGuire, and the prompt that I've chosen to go with it is to pick a contemporary book that was super duper quirky, but you ended up devouring. So for this, I have chosen Beauty Queens by Libba Bray. This book was super quirky. It was about beauty queens, it was about the mental health issues, the sexuality situations going on. By that I mean, like, trying to figure out what your sexuality is by being in such a conformed situation. That was what Beauty Queens is all about, and it was the quirkiest book I think I've ever read in my entire life. It was so weird. There were like sexy pirates. It was quirky. But I ate it up. I read it all. I just had such a fun time. It was so satirical, and yes. So this is my quirky book that I completely devoured. Next, I am choosing The Proud Families. The prompt to go along with The Proud Family is to pick a book or a series that really opened your eyes to tough subjects. So for this, I have chosen Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. Rainbow Rowell is controversial, and I can understand why. I mean, this book really did not have any sort of a warning as to how heartbreaking and how impactful it could be to some people. And impactful, I mean that in a negative way as well as a positive way. It introduced me to things that I had faced being bullied as a chubby redheaded kid with frizzy red hair. Like, this girl is the exact same that I was in that regard. It opened up my eyes to my own situation and then to harder hitting topics like the sexual assault and the abuse and all of this stuff. So this definitely did open my eyes, and so I am picking this one for Proud Family. So the next show I've chosen is a very underrated show and nobody talks about it enough. And I like the fact that it's on Disney Plus makes me swoon because I'm so happy and I'm just vibing. And it is Disney's Recess. So the prompt that goes along with Disney's Recess is to pick a book or a series that has a heavy friendship theme. So, okay, I know people are probably gonna be like, Sasha, stop talking about this person. But there's actually like legit reason. So I am picking Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. Lady Midnight has such an important friendship between two characters, Emma and Christina, and I think they're really important to talk about, and they're the model of what a female friendship should be without the whole like trying to tear each other down, making you feel bad for wanting something different than them, all that situation. This is like the definition, this is the model, this was the real deal. This was the first female friendship I'd read about in a very long time that actually like reminded me of a really healthy relationship where one person, you know, wasn't overtly toxic, and I love that. And I think that's something that Cassandra Clare does really well, is bring in that friendship theme. The final show I've chosen is a show I used to watch with my best friend at the time so much. And then we tried to imitate them, and that did not turn out well. So the final show is Phineas and Ferb, and the prompt that goes along with it is... I don't know what that was. To pick a series or a book that I absolutely loved, but after further reflection, didn't really make a lot of sense to me. So I have decided to go with Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This book, I do love it. I think I still like it. I mean, I don't really love it. I still like it. Upon further reflection, it's not my favorite, but it is good. But I was trying to think when I was creating this particular prompt of a book that I loved, but then I was like, what is going on? And this fit perfectly because I read the second book, I read the third book, I've watched book talks on it, I've recommended it, and I still don't really know what's going on. I know it's about a girl, so it's like, okay, it's about like angels and demons, I know that for sure, or like the devil, and something about teeth. And then Karu has like blue hair and has a really cool friend who likes to have a lot of sex with her boyfriend. I think that's like the gist of it. I really don't remember, but upon further reflection I realized that this definitely fit that for me perfectly. So that is the end of my original-ish tag. I'm not going to tag anybody because honestly, like, I don't want you to feel pressure to do something like this because y'all might find it garbage. So if you want to do it, that'd be fantastic. I just ask that you know, give credit to me for the prompts and also to the other girl who did the actual, like, idea of this tag in general. Don't feel pressured to do this tag video. But I just thought it would be really fun to do, especially because of how much I've been watching Disney Plus throughout this quarantine. So that is the end of my video today, and thank you so much for watching and tuning in, and feel free to share this with your friends if you want to reminisce the good old Disney days. And until next time, bye readers!